The hollow still watches. They'll tell you not to go down there. Not after dark, not alone, not at all if you've got any sense left in you. But people still do. They always do. In Atchison, stories don't die. They settle. They sink into the earth, into the old limestone, into the trees that grow too close together and lean just a little too far over the trails. If you stay long enough, you learn which places to leave alone. And one of those places is tucked inside Jackson Park. Locals don't call it by its official name once you're deep enough in. They call it Molly's Hollow. The first time I heard about it, it wasn't from a ghost tour or some YouTube video. It was from a guy named Darren who grew up in Atchison and swore he'd never go back there again. We were sitting outside a gas station just off the highway. It was late, past midnight, and the kind of quiet that presses in on your ears. "You ever heard of Molly?" he asked. I said no. He nodded like he expected that. "Most people outside Atchison haven't, but you go asking around here, someone will tell you. Everyone's got a version." He flicked his cigarette, but didn't look away from the dark tree line across the street. "They say she was real," he said. "Girl named Molly. Lived back when Atchison was still trying to decide what kind of town it was gonna be. Some say she was accused of witchcraft. Some say she was just different. Quiet, strange, kept to herself. That was enough back then." "They dragged her out there," Darren said, jerking his head toward the park. "Right into the hollow. No trial, no nothing, just fear and anger." And then he hesitated. "They didn't just kill her," he said quietly. "They made sure she suffered." There are records of strange happenings in Atchison dating back over a century. Disappearances, unexplained deaths, stories that never quite made it into official reports, but passed from one person to another like warnings. Atchison's known for its hauntings. People talk about Sally House all the time, scratches appearing on visitors, things moving on their own, a presence that doesn't like being disturbed. But locals will tell you something else. The Sally House might be famous. Molly's Hollow is feared. You won't find a sign for it. Not really. You have to know where to go. There's a trail that looks like it wasn't meant to be followed. Half overgrown, roots breaking through the dirt, like something trying to claw its way out. The deeper you go, the quieter it gets. No birds, no insects, no wind. Just stillness. That's the first thing people notice. The second thing is the feeling. Like you're being watched. I didn't believe any of it. Not at first. I went there because I wanted a story. Something real, something local, something that felt different from the usual haunted house cliches. And Molly's Hollow had everything. History, fear, warnings, people telling me not to go. That's usually a good sign. I went just before sunset. That was the mistake. Because people always say the same thing. If you're gonna go, don't let it get dark. I thought they were just trying to scare me. I thought wrong. The entrance to the trail was easy enough to find once you knew what you were looking for. A narrow break in the trees just off the main path in Jackson Park. It didn't look like much. Just another part of the woods. But the air changed the second I stepped in. It was colder, not dramatically, just enough to notice. And the silence hit almost immediately. I kept walking. The ground dipped slowly, the trees growing thicker the further I went. Branches tangled overhead, blocking out more and more light. It felt like descending into something, like the land itself was swallowing me. About 10 minutes in, I saw the first sign. Not a sign exactly, more like a marker. A small pile of stones stacked at the base of a tree. It looked deliberate, like someone had placed them there carefully. And then I noticed something else. There were more, scattered along the path, each one just slightly different, like they were guiding me or leading me somewhere. That's when I heard it. A voice, soft, faint, behind me. "Hello?" I turned around. Nothing. Just the trail stretching back the way I came. But the air felt heavier now. Thicker, like it was pressing against my chest. I told myself it was the wind, except there wasn't any. I kept going, because turning back already felt wrong, like I'd be interrupting something. The hollow opens up suddenly. One moment you're surrounded by trees, and the next you're standing in a clearing that feels too still, too quiet, too wrong. The ground dips into a shallow basin, and right in the center, there's a tree. It's bigger than the others, older, its trunk twisted in a way that doesn't look natural, like it grew around something, or away from it. The bark is dark, almost black in places, and the branches stretch out like reaching arms. That's where they say it happened, where they brought her, where they ended her life. I didn't step into the center. I don't know why. Something in me just refused, like a warning I didn't fully understand. The light was fading faster now, shadows stretching long across the hollow. And that's when I heard it again. This time it was clearer. A whisper, right behind me. "Stay." I spun around. Nothing. But the feeling, it was stronger now. That sense of being watched. Not from one direction, from all of them. The trees, the ground, the air itself. I started backing away, slowly at first, then faster, because something had changed. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was full, filled with something I couldn't see. And then I heard footsteps, not mine. They were soft, dragging, circling the edge of the hollow, moving just out of sight. I ran. I didn't care about the trail anymore. Didn't care about where I was stepping. I just needed to get out. But the path wasn't the same. The markers were gone. The stones I'd followed in, nowhere to be seen. And the woods, they felt different, like they were closing in. That's when I realized something that still doesn't sit right with me. I'd only been in there maybe 20 minutes, but the sky, it was completely dark. No sunset, no gradual fading of light, just night. And the whispering didn't stop. It followed me, all around me. Soft voices overlapping, impossible to understand, except for one. Hers. "Don't leave." I don't remember how I got out, not clearly. Just flashes, branches hitting my face, the ground dropping out beneath me, the feeling of something right behind me, close enough to touch. And then I was back on the main path. Lights from the street filtering through the trees, cars passing in the distance. Normal sounds, normal air, but something was wrong. I turned around, and for a second, just a second, I saw someone standing at the edge of the trail. A woman, or something shaped like one. Her head tilted slightly, her arms hanging too still at her sides, and then she was gone. I left Atchison that night. Didn't stay and didn't go back. Didn't even stop to think about what I'd seen. But it didn't stay there. The dream started a few days later. I'd be back in the hollow, standing at the edge, watching myself walk in, over and over again, and every time, I'd hear her voice, closer, clearer. "Stay." I started noticing other things. Small at first, dirt on my shoes. Even when I hadn't been outside, scratches on my arms, thin, shallow, like something brushing against me in the dark. And then, the footprints. I woke up one morning to find mud on my floor, leading from my bedroom door to my bed, but not mine. They were smaller, barefoot, and they stopped, right beside me. I moved, left the apartment, threw out the shoes I wore that day, burned the clothes, Tried everything I could think of. But it didn't matter, because once you've been to Molly's Hollow, it knows you. I went back to Atchison a few months later. I don't know why. Maybe I thought I could prove something, or end it, or understand it. I never made it to the trail, because before I even reached Jackson Park, I saw something that stopped me cold. There was a group of teenagers standing near the entrance, laughing, daring each other, talking about going into the hollow after dark. One of them looked at me, and for a second, his expression changed, like he recognized something. "Hey," he called out, "you ever been down there?" I should have told him not to go, should have warned them, told them everything. But the words, they wouldn't come out. Because in that moment, I heard it again, right next to my ear, soft, patient. "Bring them." I left, got in my car, drove, didn't look back. I don't know if those kids went in. I don't know what they found if they did. But I do know this. People still go missing around there. Not often, not enough to make headlines, but enough that locals notice. Enough that they warn you. And if you go asking about Molly, really asking, you'll start to hear the same thing. From different people, different stories, different versions, but always the same warning. Don't go into the hollow. Because some places don't forget what happened in them. Some places hold on, grow around it, feed on it. And some things, they don't want to be left alone. They want you to stay. So if you ever find yourself in Atchison and someone mentions Molly's Hollow, don't ask where it is. And if you somehow find it anyway, if you see that narrow trail leading into the trees, don't follow it, because if you do, you might make it back out. A lot of people do, at least at first, but something will come with you. And one night, when everything is quiet, and the world feels just a little too still, you'll hear it. Right behind you, waiting. Stay.